What's going on, my dummies, and welcome to, I guess, a deck tech? Over the next few days, I'm going to try to post these day after day, starting today when you see this. Budget deck lists for the new trading card game for Digimon. These are lists of stuff that people that went and bought a box and some starter decks can build together. I'm going to do red, blue, and yellow first for the starter decks. The other ones are going to be just from the box. There's no starter decks involved. So if you do have starter decks, it's from one starter, not two. I know a lot of people only got one and they're still looking for their second copy. But this is basically for people that want to play with their friends and have a good time playing this. This is not, I don't recommend building this and go into a tournament. I don't recommend saying that your deck is very good. This is just something to enjoy the game, because I know this is something that I'm planning on doing to enjoy the game with my friends until the official release, because the gouging of prices is ridiculous. I'm sure you guys have seen it too, your fair share on the Facebook sites. The prices of these cards are going insane, so it's really hard to pinpoint it, especially when we're getting extra cards later on. So without further ado, this is the red deck. We're only playing 4 Digitama. If you pull a baby Demon, you can put it in there. Or Yokomon's just fine too. Both of those would work fairly well in this deck because we do play a Digimon with Pierce in it. So we still will get those two abilities, keep that in mind. But we're using the 4 of Corgimon. You should have them in the starter deck. There's no big thing about it. Sorry, my mouse is in the way. So yeah, 4 Corgimon. The next up, we have our rookies. I do a 12. In case you wanted to build this yourself, I'm going to try to put this in every single video. How I do my decks, minus Digitamas. 4 rookies, 4 champions, 8 ultimates, 8 megas, and that leaves 10 extra cards to move around with. So if you're going to follow my guidelines, or at least this deck, that's how I would do it. I would do it 12, 12, 8, 8, 10. That way, the ratios are good. You're not overdrawing your megas. You're not overdrawing your ultimates. You're not underdrawing rookies. I found this is the way I'm testing my decks. This is how I build my decks. So I feel like if you're going to start replacing stuff, start replacing it with the levels that's already there or the extra cards that are already there. But anyways, we have a 4 of Guillemon. I put Guillemon in here because I like the card. I know a lot of other people like the card, so we're going to play the 4 of Guillemon. Inheritable skill, 5 or more cards in trash, plus 1,000. It's got 3,000 more DP than the Agamon. I think that's why people enjoy playing it. But if you didn't want this, Monodramon, there we go, would be a good replacement for this if you don't pull enough. The next up, we have Bioman and Agamon from the starter deck. Bioman being our vanilla, has no abilities, 2 to play, 3,000 DP, really strong. Agamon gives us plus 1,000 as an inheritable skill during our turn. So it's kind of like the Guillemon, only without a restriction and with less DP. So that's why I play both, because we want something, we got to get something. So our inheritable skills is going to help our mega levels, our level 6s later on in the game than them being able to carry by themselves. So next up, we have our level 4s, I think. Yeah, it's our level 4s. So it's 4, 4, 2, 2. Basically 12 in a straight line. If you only got one starter deck, let me start with the other ones. Dark Tyrannomon is our vanilla. 1 to evolve, 6 to play. We're normally evolving him. We're never hard playing him unless we're in a very tight situation. 6k power, pretty strong for vanilla. Next up, we have Growlmon. Growlmon, whenever he attacks, we delete something that has 2,000 DP or less. This is pretty good against the purple decks. You'll have Entmons and such. Then it's pretty decent against Rookie Rush. It keeps them to a minimum, and we want to try to do that as quickly as possible. We don't want them to go and overextend on us. But yeah, Growlmon is just a good replacement. It's cheap, it's efficient, and it's able to do stuff early game and late game. So I enjoy the Growlmon. If you did, however, pick up 2 of the starter decks, one of the things that you do is start replacing the Growlmons with Greymons. from the starter deck. That would end up being a 4-4-4 instead of a 4-2-4-2 split. Next up, we have Corgimon. You got 4 in the starter deck. Blocker, -2 memory when it attacks. It's in here to keep the game kind of at a stalemate, to keep your opponent from attacking for a few turns, let you get what you need to get done. Blockers are, in my opinion, you need them. Don't sleep on blockers. If you can play 4, play 4. I don't think there's a reason you don't. And then next up we have our Greymon. Greymon, 2 to evolve, 5 to play, 4,000 DP. So the same stats as the Growlmon. Inheritable skill, security attack +1. This is where most of our damage is coming from. Like I said, I would highly recommend, if you could, to put more into the deck. I don't know why they decided to put a 2 of him and a 2 of Phoenixmon. Like, I think they knew what they were going to try to sell whenever the sets came out. But yeah, Greymon, definitely a must-have. I highly recommend him as a 4 of in the deck if you got 2 of them. If not, Growlmon's a pretty decent replacement. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head that I would play over the Growlmon. Nothing else looks quite fine. I mean, you could play Flame Lizardmon. I don't know exactly his name, but he basically gives security attack on play to something, so you could play him if you wanted to, but I felt like that was too situational, so not even worried about it. Next up, we have our ultimates. We have Groundramon. He is a vanilla 2 to play, very cheap and efficient. That's the only reason he's in here. And he's a common or uncommon, so that's a plus to us. The next one we have is Metal Greymon. You should have 4 of these in the starter deck. Good card. If you get blocked, you get 3 memory, so it helps you consistently do something else. And as you can see with our level 6 that's next to him, it allows us to play him for free, which is really good. Or Digivolve him for free. So yeah, play him. He's got an inheritable ability. If you did not pull enough Groundramon, I will say that you can start putting in, I guess Garudamon from the starter deck would be fine. Another card that you could think about playing would be the Tyrannomon. That's 10k. 3 to evolve, like more to evolve, of course, but he is a 10k body vanilla. You could start replacing the Groundramons that you don't have with him. You should have a Metal Greymon from the starter set or the starter deck. Next up, we have Breakdramon. Breakdramon is uncommon, so we're playing him because he should be easy to get. He's got Pierce, so he's able to attack our opponent's Digimon. That's good, because the more we can attack our opponent's stuff, the more that keeps their damage down. But with the Pierce, we're able to deal damage to them as well, so we could win the race. 11,000 power is pretty good. 3 to evolve, 12 cost to play. We're never going to hard play him. We're always going to evolve him, so the 3 to evolve is pretty good. It's not Phoenixmon good, but it's still good. Next up, we have a Volcanic Dramon. Now, remember when I said I want to do a 4-4 split of my level 6s? Volcanic Dramon is not included in that for us. Volcanic Dramon will be one of those 10 cards that you play, but with it being a common, if you don't pull one in your box, it's really sus. But yeah, he's got security attack, and then he's got on play, delete all of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 or less power. It kind of board wipes your opponent, slows them down, and it's got the security attack. So if we have to de-evolve into him, we can, but more than likely we are hard playing him. Next up, we have our last 2 level 6s that we will be playing to evolve. We have 2 Phoenixmon, 2 to play, or 2 to evolve, just vanilla, good card. And then lastly, we have Greymon. 4 to evolve, 12 to play, hard cast, but we're not hard casting. During your turn, for every 2 Digivolution sources under this card, gain 1 security. So he's going to be our finisher, the one that's dealing the most damage for us. So we keep him from the starter deck. Next up, 2 cards from the starter deck. We have 2 Gaia Force. You should have 2. I will tell you, if you got 2 starter decks, what you can put Gaia Force in as whenever I get farther down the list. But yeah, if you have them, play 4. If you don't, play 2. you're completely fine. There's another card in the set. It's not as good, but it still does something well enough. Next up, we have oh my god. We have Taichi. During your turn, all your stuff gets plus 1,000. A pretty good card. It helps with getting that extra damage through and not dying to security checks, which is always nice. And being able to get over our opponent's Digimon, which is something we would like to do with Greymon. So we keep the Taichis. For each Taichi that you take out, I would recommend you put a Taichi from the set in or a Sora from the set in. Both of those will be fine if you don't want to play the starter deck one. Moving on, the last card we have is Short of the Just. This is the card that you would take out for Gaia Force, but we would probably want to keep one just for some options. And if you don't want to play the one, you could always put an extra of Volcanic Dramon, you could put a Puppetmon, you could put a Magnet Dramon, just something that's really cool, like an on-play ability that you can just put in the deck just because you want to, that could deal with what your opponents are playing, just to be like a little card up your sleeve against your friends. But main effect, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 5,000 DP or less. If you have a red tamer, delete one of your opponent's DP or Digimon with 8,000 DP or less. Instead, security activate the main effect. So this is like, it's not as good as Terra Force. I'm not saying that it is good, it's nowhere near Terra Force level good. However, it is still a decent enough card to play and replace it until you can get your own while you're playing with your friends. But overall, that is it. Let me zoom out here. This is the entire deck. Feel free to use it. I enjoy when you guys use my decks. I've seen a few people with deck lists very similar to mine, and it does make me happy. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, I'm going to come out with one for every single color. One will come out every single day this week. So be looking out for your color if you're waiting for it, or if this is it. I appreciate the watch. But I'll catch you guys later. Peace.